Greetings and welcome everyone. We're back here today with a good old classic modern strategy called Dredge. If you're not familiar with it, I'll go ahead and kind of give you the ropes of the deck here before jumping into a league. This is a list that did decently well in a challenge recently. If you're not familiar with Dredge, it is an ability that allows you to replace your drawing of a card by milling cards from the top of your deck. Really strange. So this works anytime you would draw a card, you can choose to replace the draw with Dredge. And then the number, right, 4 is how many cards you mill, or Stinkweed Imp has Dredge 5. So this deck just plays 8 Dredge cards. The Imp and the Thug. You have 14 cards that enable your strategy, so to speak. So Otherworldly Gaze also has Flashback as part of the reason it's great, but Surveil 3 essentially is selective Dredge 3, which there's definitely some upside to. Tome Scour is just mill 5. And then Faithless Looting is obviously a very powerful graveyard card. One of the great things about Faithless Looting is it's good when you have dredgers in the graveyard, but it's also good when you have your dredgers in your hand, because then you can dump them out of your hand. It's obviously one of our most powerful turn 1 plays to set up dredgers for future draws, but like I said, basically any point in the game we're happy to cast Looting. Cathartic Reunion is very powerful, especially when you have dredgers in your hand. You get to discard 2 cards, which are, like 2 Stinkweed Imps, and then draw 3, which is Dredge 5, and then hopefully by then you've hit another Dredger and you get to dredge more. Why are we dredging? Why do we want to put all our cards in the graveyard? Well, we have these 16 cards, and then to a lesser extent these 4, that trigger when being milled. Narcomoeba is a 1/1 flyer that when it's milled from the top of your deck, you get to put it into play for free. Prize Amalgam says if a creature entered from your graveyard, then you can return it from your graveyard, tapped on your next end step. So when a Narcomoeba enters, it triggers your Prize Amalgam to enter 2. Creeping Chill says when it's milled, you get to exile it and deal 3 damage and gain 3 life. Silver Smoke Ghoul says when you gain 3 life and it's in your graveyard, you can return it to the battlefield tapped, which also will trigger your Prize Amalgams as well. So we try to get all these in the graveyard, and then they trigger each other, and then we end up with a bunch of 3/3s and 3/1s and 1/1 flyers in play, while also doing direct damage to the opponent. Wonder is a 1/of that it's just good to have in the graveyard. It gives all our creatures flying, so our amalgams and ghouls will fly. Oxes are kind of a little bit of both. They're kind of a late game Cathartic Reunion. You discard your hand and draw 3, but again you get to dredge all 3 times hopefully. Conflagrate is another way to empty our hand. Kind of a late game finisher usually. Sometimes it removes blockers though. You get to divide it amongst any targets. It's XX and red to cast, but usually we're just casting it for flashback, which is red, and then we discard X cards. So we discard our hand, get the dredgers back at the graveyard. Excuse me, while doing direct damage. Our lands aren't very special for the most part. We're just fetching up steam vents because all the spells we're actually casting are blue and red. We do have the 1 black source, so we could hard cast something like a Thug or a Stinkweed Imp. If it gets countered or destroyed, we want it in the graveyard anyways. Sometimes we cast a Creeping Chill really late game, or a Ghoul, or a Amalgam. So we have that 1 black source for them. The Coliseum, once we already have 7 in our graveyard, we can again draw 3, then discard 3. Not the perfect order for this deck, but again, if we have dredgers in the graveyard, very powerful. In the sideboard, we have Ley Lines, which notably stop things like Tormod's Crypt, which targets someone. I'm trying to think of other targeted graveyard hate. Blanking off the top of my head. It doesn't stop Soul Guide Lantern or like Rest in Peace or something like that, but I think it's mainly there for something like Tormod's Crypts type effects. Flood Maws can bounce pesky permanents like a Rest in Peace, which completely turn off our strategy. Damping Spheres are our 1 like stop other. Storm is a little bit faster than us, and bring it in against Amulet Titan. Silent Gravestone is a really interesting card because on first glance you'd think that this is graveyard hate. It says cards in graveyards can't be the targets of spells or abilities. And then for 4 mana, you exile it and exile all graveyards. We're not using the activated ability. Not typically. I guess there might be some very limited cases. But not letting our cards be targeted means the front side, so to speak, of Soul Guide Lantern can't exile a card. People can't cast Surgical Extraction. What was that green card we were playing that lets you like shuffle cards back into a deck? Like anything that would target the card in the graveyard can't be targeted. So like the Silent Gravestone actually helps protect our cards in the graveyard. Sorry, I hit the wrong button on my keyboard. And doesn't actually hurt our strategy. Nothing we're doing is targeting. You know, when we're flashing back, looting, or the gaze, like we're not targeting it, we're just casting it. Yeah, nothing targets. So we'll jump into a league. It's been a long while since I've played some Dredge, and it's just, you know, like I said, it's a classic. It's been around probably since Modern is around. Ever since I've been in Modern, that's for sure. It's kind of like the classic all-in graveyard strategy, and it's very unique, right? Sometimes you spin perfectly. You dredge 5 and you end up just setting up a perfect game. Other times you can dredge 5 and hit no dredgers, no narcomoebas, no amalgams, no ghouls, no creeping chills, and it's just like, what was the point of that? There's kind of a built-in randomness because you're just flipping cards on the top of your deck. It can be really fun. If this hand had a looting, it would be great because we have the 2 dredgers. As it is, we would only be able to cast Gaze and hope to get going from there. This is good at like leaving a Faithless Looting on top of the deck, though. It's close. This deck mulligans pretty well, so I think I'll just go ahead and take a mulligan. He says famously before he mulligans to Oblivion. Anyways, can't keep this. We don't have a land. This we will keep. We have to put 2 cards on the bottom. Typically, you'll have things like narcomoebas and creeping chills in your hand, and you're like, well, you actively don't want them. I think I'll get rid of the Tome Scour because I have the double looting. 2 lands, 2 lootings, and a card I want to discard, so. Let's see what our opponent is up to. Dredge is famously pretty good into counterspell decks. Although we don't want our like first looting to be countered after that point in the game, there's not a lot of cards we really care about getting countered. Narcomoeba is an awkward draw, but it is what it is. Not a great draw. I guess we could probably hardcast Narcomoeba. We don't need this many lands. So we're going to dredge 5 on our draw step and hope to get lucky on those 5. Opponent's rumbling. What is this? Must be some sacrifice. They have something that gives like +1/+1 counters. So they can go infinite with Bombardment, and I assume any persist card. Dredge. We had a Narcomoeba and a Creeping Chill. If I want to say yes to the Chill, the Narcomoeba kind of stinks when it's by itself, but we did hit another Thug. I should probably just leave my graveyard out, shouldn't I? Since all we're doing in this game is our graveyard. It's kind of our battlefield, so I'll put it here. That'll be annoying over my thing, but there we go. Narcomoeba. Yes. I think I'll play out the Colosseum here. It's either that or I'm fetching up like a Blood Crypt. There's like upside and downside to either. I guess because I have the Conflagrate, I might go for the other red source here. It also does thin our deck out. Our opponent doesn't seem to be like pressuring our life total all that much. And maybe I should have just gotten the, what's it called? Steam Vents, but so we'll Thug. We didn't hit another one. So we just drew, what did we draw? We draw another Coliseum, okay. So we'll discard the Imp and the Thug. Sets us up next turn where we can flashback a looting. So it's not too bad. Assuming our opponent doesn't, get rid of our graveyard. So we will pass through the turn and hope we're not dead to some sort of combo. Like I said, I'm trying to think. There's the old Vizier Devoted Druid combo. Maybe it's that. I think there was Samwise Gamgee had a combo. Or some version of Samwise. Eternal Witness. Okay. Just gotta pass through the turn. I don't have anything I can do to respond anyway. I guess we actually could flashback Ox. Or not a flashback, but escape. Because that's a powerful strategy. Okay, what are they? Sorry. Huh. Birthing neutral. Okay. Oh, they have endurance. Well, that's not great for us. We have no graveyard now. And we cannot use our Coliseum without a graveyard already. So it's not ideal. Our Ghoul does not have flying. I can sack it to draw a card. Fiend Artisan. I remember when people thought this was going to be like the new Tarmogoyf for this format. I've got to have some combo going on over there. So we could just draw a card. But I think let's get the Thug out. Nothing has Trample yet, which is nice. Or Reach. So we'll ping them with our Narcomoeba. Thug means they can't really attack. They don't want to, at least. And then I guess next turn maybe we just cast the other Narcomoeba, but hopefully we draw. They didn't exile anything, so it's like everything's back in our deck. So hopefully we draw a looting. Would be great. At this point, we just want anything in our graveyard. We can start using Coliseums to dig through our deck. But they obviously probably have other endurances. If not in the main, in the sideboard. They have a lot of mana now. They have the Bombardment, and then we know they have... So they're good at sacrificing things. They just need to get their combo going. Against this creature-based deck with really big 2-drops and persisting things, this is where we want Wonder in the graveyard. Giving our creatures flying is very relevant. Sacked a 3-drop, so oh, they just got Faithless Looting. So you can sack this twice. Stinkweed Imp. Stinkweed Imp has a weird version of Death Touch. I guess I think that's better than just the Narcomoeba. Guess it's fine to play this. I'll attack like this. Okay. Assume this won't last long. Now they just need I know there's multiple creatures that put a +1/+1 counter on it when a creature enters. Doesn't Grumgelly do it? The Goblin, it's each non-human enters with a +1/+1 counter. Oh, what is this? Core Calling for 1? No. Oh, they're Fiend Artisan. I thought they were tapping it for mana. Malira. That's the one. Creatures you control can't have -1 and -1. So Green Sun Zenith, right? That's why they're using Safehold Elite, is because it's a green creature with Persist. Although, do they also have Strangleroot? Because Strangleroot's way better. Unless they have something that needs it to be a elf. But yeah, that Endurance kind of ended our game there. We had a great setup before that. So, Leyline does stop Endurance. Right? I'm 95% sure. Double check it says target player. Yeah. So I think we'll do that. It also stops the Goblin Bombardment. I kind of like Wandering Conflag. We'll dump one Ox. Trim here. The Ghoul is like less good here with the 1 toughness. We basically can't ever trim any of our dredgers, and we never trim the lootings. You can kind of trim on Gaze Scour. I guess you could cut a Hug too. Maybe we'll cut a Hug. I don't know, it's just so good. To just cut both Tome Scours, it can set up really good. I'll cut 1 Gaze. We'll see if they bring in something other than Endurance. Yeah, this is good. Diluting the Thug and the Ghoul to graveyard unless we hit another Dredger. Well, we need it into the Void. Into the Flood Maw, rather. Can we do anything against this? Shoot. And I did it on 6 cards, too. Guess I don't really need a Stinkweave. I actually want a black source. I need a fetch. Forgot I had a second land. I was like, I can just cast my creatures, but I can't actually cast my creatures. Man, my draw would have been super good into anything but Leyline. I guess, I mean, they are a black deck. It's reasonable to assume they might have had this. Because I already saw Endurance, I was hoping they just, like, brought in a couple more Endurance, but maybe thought they might have, like, Surgical. I was thinking about the Gravestone. To be fair, even if we brought in our 2 into the Flood Maws, it's like, we're never good into a Leyline of the Void. Yeah. That's you know, pretty much lights out against us, so. There are quite a few of those in the format, but at the same time, you know, you can dodge them completely in the 75s, or when people have them, you can dodge them from them actually having them in the starting hand, because if they're waiting to cast it on turn 4, you're in good shape. Can turn 1 Scour. Problem is turn 2 Cathartic isn't good because we don't have any dredgers. So it's like turn 1 Scour, hope to hit a dredger plus Thundering Falls. That's close. I guess this can still set it up for future turns too. Well, it's a pretty good Scour, I suppose. It would have been nice to have this in the graveyard or something. would have been great later in the game, but for turn 1 we really just wanted to hit a Dredger. Losing 2 Creeping Chills makes our ghouls all a lot worse going forward, but obviously it puts us ahead to start the game. Wow, Burning Inquiry still just took all our lands. And Narcomoeba. Okay. We have one Dredger to pitch this Cathartic Reunion at least. Hopefully we get lucky off of it. They missed on a hollow one, so that's nice for us, I suppose. I guess I'll get the Blood Crypt. Do this. Dredge, Dredge, Dredge. There we go. We hit the 1, 2, 3. Oh, they gave up. I mean, we weren't going to trigger our ghouls or Pies Amalgams. Which is funny. Our opponent just conceded. That wasn't really that great, even though we got to dredge a bunch. I think we're going to need these. I assume they're on Leyline of the Void. It's pretty common. And maybe some Gravestone, some Surgicals out there. Let's see. I think this is that great. Yeah, doesn't really kill a lot of their stuff. Wonder might be lethal though. Cut some Gaze and 1 Cathartic or 1 Ox. Cut the 1 Cathartic because they're playing Burning Inquiry. I kind of assume we're going to see them mull for Leyline here. This hand's pretty good into anything except Leyline of the Void. It also can dig a lot for Into the Floodmaw at least. So I'll keep. Yep. Hit him in a 7. Okay. I think we'll like Thundering Falls, cast a Gaze or 2. Can maybe cast 2 on our turn 2. If we don't see a Floodmaw by then, we don't want to like looting our Thug away or whatever. Well, we'll lose one of those. Unfortunate, but you know, price we pay. Be interesting if we just face mono Leyline of the Void decks for this video. Cathartic Reunion is such a good card. I should have done this before draw, my bad. We're just digging for Into the Floodmaw. And I suppose I'll fetch. Wow, that's a lot of lands. Okay, we'll take one more draw at it. I mean, I guess our opponent isn't putting a ton of pressure on us, but at some point we've spent so many resources and we've exiled already 1 Dredger, 2 Chills, a looting. Yeah, this isn't looking good. I guess I'll put that on top. See if we can get lucky. Too late. Okay. There it was finally. Okay. I kind of assume they're just gonna go all in on trying to have the Leyline, so we'll go all in on being able to draw into our Floodmaw and hopefully keep a 7 or a 6 or a 5 that has Floodmaw on it, because it's like if we bounce 1 Leyline, we should be golden. This has no Floodmaw, no way to draw. And also, I mean, it's just Tome Scour even in a normal game. So it's one of these. This is really land heavy and not a good hand otherwise anyway. I think we probably have to keep this. We have looting and gaze. They mulled to 6. They kept. Just get rid of a Tarn since I'm just gonna keep one of the steam vents. I'll wait to gaze. Well, we didn't see a land out of the void, so they just have like a burning inquiry. Okay. Oh, they hit one of our flood moths. Huh. And we got a free hollow one. Interesting. Double bauble. So hopefully gaze a dredger here and go nuts. And dredge 4 and then scour. Maybe get a couple narcomoebas and prize amalgams out or something. We definitely don't want to draw any of these, so. Losing that looting was a bummer. Narcomoeba. Oh, we got a prize amalgam and a wonder. Huh. Could do this next turn. Can't do anything for 1 mana. Could flashback a gaze. I could flashback a looting, or I can just do Colosseum. No dredger in the top. What are we? Almost 20 cards here. If I surveil a dredger into the yard, though, that might just be better than going for the Colosseum. Let's see. Come on. Show me a dredger. Well, wah. Come on, deck. Creeping Chill. Guess we'll do that at least. Gives us the ghoul back, which gives us the amalgams. Okay. We kind of got there eventually. Got something going. It's slow, but I mean it's technically lethal if he swings. We'll have. Oh no, we'll only have 9, not 12, because I only have 2 of the. Oh, they get bigger. 2 amalgams. They're all gonna have flying too, which is nice. So can't dredge anything. Okay. I guess we looting? Oh, they can see it because I was gonna put them to 2. I think we were gonna loot there. Finally hit some dredgers, put them in the graveyard. Yeah. Cool. Well, you know, it's hard to beat Leyline of the Void, but otherwise it is feeling a like pretty strong strategy here. Kills pretty fast. Match 1 there we lost the main deck Endurance into the Leyline of the Void. And then match 2 we just lost a game to Leyline, but otherwise we beat another decently fast graveyard deck. Double Creeping Chill is actually really bad. No dredgers for reunion or looting right now is bad. I mean, and like I've said, the deck mulligans decently well. Bottom, Chill, or Narcomoeba. We'd have to draw a land though. If we had a second land, this hand's great. Discard 2 dredgers. I think I'm gonna risk going to 5. We just have 5s that are better. Like this, yeah, this is fine. Get rid of these, keep all our enablers. Probably lead on gaze instead of looting. I have one card I want to discard. So I think I'm going to loot now. I see one less card, but yeah, this is fine. We got a Dredger in the yard. Let's see what our opponent is up to. I played the Mario Kart Flooded Strand. Looks like the beach level Mario Kart. They're thinking a long time here as to what land they want to get. Okay, I got a breeding pool into a Sacred Foundry. Okay. 4 color, Renin 6. Okay, this might be like a 4 color Omnath. I was thinking about playing a 4 or 5 color Omnath deck actually. Do I want to gaze first? No, I'm just gonna dredge. Dredge the imp. Play this. Discard the imp. As well as a Narcomoeba. Dredge. Didn't get any other dredgers. Unfortunate. We'll get back the ghoul, but that's it. We do have another reunion. That's not something. Our ghoul unfortunately just dies to Renin 6 minus. I think if we want to gaze, we could gaze and still cast reunion. That's probably worth it. I want to try to gaze into another, obviously another dredger. We can dredge it, pick it up, and then dredge it again off the reunion. So gives us the potential to hit like 10 more cards. Now we can't do it because it's stupid Teferi. Huh. It's interesting he bounced this instead of killing it with Renin 6. Because he wants to make his land drops. Okay, we gotta play sorcery speed. Let's just start here, discard. Discard. Replacement effect. Replacement effect. What is my graveyard doing? It's bouncing all over the place. Okay. Okay. We'll go ahead and play this. Ping ourselves to gaze. We will put this in the graveyard. This in the graveyard. We'll put this top because we want to have a nice discard outlet to get rid of these 2 dredgers again. Our amalgams are hiding. I mean, we've seen 33 cards and only 1 amalgam and only 2 creeping chills. But we also, maybe we just are escaping Ox. I look at it because we can discard our whole hand for that. Yeah, it's probably an escape Ox turn. That seems good. It's likely playing Solitudes, so we gotta watch out for that. And, I mean, he might have Endurance main as well. If not, he probably has it in the sideboard and is probably playing Omnath. This might be an Omnath. Prison Reef, okay. Got like a bolt as well, maybe. Definitely gonna focus all our attacks on him. Do we want to looting before Ox? No. Yes, no. I guess I could Ox plus do this, so let's do that. I might run out of cards, honestly, in our deck. Doesn't really matter what we hit, just not cards that can come back. So we discard everything. We get to Dredge. 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 We're at 11 cards. If we do this, draw 3, discard 3, we could mill basically the rest of our deck. I want to leave like a good couple cards left though. So Dredge, we're down to 6 cards. If we troll, puts us down to 2. We'll go to 2. Discard, discard, discard. I think chills. Do chills work with? Okay, chills work with Teferi because you don't cast the card. You just exile it and get the effect. Okay. We're going to swing them down to 3 here, assuming they don't have some sort of interaction, and then get our amalgams back. As well as our goal. Okay, they did have it. That makes sense. Oh, MCGO was really struggling there. So I think amalgams have to like trigger themselves. Every single one. Yes, we know. Trigger, 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 trigger. Oh, I drew that one. Okay, that was a risky dredge there. We want to give ourselves one more turn, but we can also conflag for 1, 2, 3, 4. So essentially they have to, if they have like Wrath of the Skies, we still have Ox. If they have Omnath into Fetch Land, into like Supreme Verdict, we're dead. Can you just dredge infinitely? I forget actually. Can you just, if you would draw a card, you may mill 5 instead. If you do, return this. Do I have to mill 5 to return it to my hand? These are the questions. I'm not entirely sure, honestly. Dredge. They're not on here. Okay, Stinkweed. Gatherer, maybe? You can't attempt to use a dredge ability if you don't have enough cards in your library. Okay, yep. You have to dredge the exact number. What is their opponent doing? Taking game actions? Got it. They killed some ghouls with some Ren 6. Awesome. Yeah, okay, I was gonna say. If you only have a couple removal spells, we're fine. Question here is like, do I just sideboard for Leyline? Or for Endurance? Do I bring in my Silent Gravestones? I was just looking at list, honestly. I was gonna potentially play a 5-color list. Let's see. This one is just playing 2 Endurance. In the sideboard, this one has Wrath of Skies, Containment Priest. Containment Priest seems good. Supreme Verdict and Endurance. Okay. I guess we'll do Leyline and just assume it's gonna be Endurance. See how it goes. No, I think like Fama's so much more flexible, but we'll try it. We're up a game. We probably need it. We probably don't need Wonder. They do play, Risen Reefs, but they don't play a ton of creatures. Cut some Tome Scour. Does Cathartic Reunion, even if it gets counterspelled, still gets to discard the cards, and that's the main thing you want it to do, so you actually want to keep that in against counter magic. Cut an Ox. Although it was a tank there. My sideboarding is obviously not gospel. Excuse me, sideboard mostly on a Wind and a Prayer, so we'll be halfway there. His hand is close with Hug and Looting. I do have a Thug. I'm going to take a Mole because I want to see if I can hit the ley line. Oh, no lands, okay. Well, that's what we're keeping, unfortunately. I guess we'll tuck the Amalgam, the Gaze, because we have, like, Looting into double Stinkweed. I didn't want to draw you. If he has an Endurance, I mean, he's going to use it now. Taking a while to click the right land. I got it. I decided it is Elegant Parlor. Didn't want the Fury though. He's a little slow against us. I mean, bouncing cards is fine, but we just have a lot of ways to discard him. So they let us dredge. They trying to like endurance in response to the triggers, or I wish I had another. I think I'll shock myself and just gaze. Now get the value off of it while it's still in my graveyard. Graveyard. We'll keep the Cathartic. Top, on the off chance that our opponent does endurance or do something, drawing the Cathartic means we can still dredge next turn. In fact, I might just take it because it can dredge a guaranteed 5, 10, 14. Cancel on that. We'll take the draw. Let's fetch. Thin it out. We know we're not going to be using more mana. Don't want that. I guess the Narcomoeba. Stinkweed. We got the old Dredge 15. Should be some triggers. So if he has endurance, now's the time to do it. If he does it now, we'd be in a tough spot. But so what you gotta do with Dredge. It's a pretty all-in deck. I'll get a couple. I'll get Ghoul, and then I'll get some Prize Amalgams on their turn. Only 2 though. Again, we're seeing 37 cards. Like, we're pretty consistent at milling our deck. We are not seeing our payoffs as often as you would think. What? Such a long, slow roll on the old endurance. Why didn't he use him earlier? He let me gain life. He let me get the Ghoul out. Okay, I am very confused by our opponent's choice there. Wish I had a black source, but it is what it is. I mean, I have a, what, 3-turn clock, 2-turn clock now. Now they have a containment priest. That would have been great. I can trade here. Halfling, okay. They're swinging. I have a lot higher life. Very okay with that. Okay. Got looting, so we can loot some stuff. At this point, what do we have? We have only one more chill, but up to 4 cards in the graveyard. Oh, I should have shocked that. That's my bad. Misplay here. I could have hardcast this. I also could flashback the looting. I think that's worth doing. I totally forgot about that. So wow, we milled a lot of cards and saw a lot of nothing. Okay. Okay, maybe we gaze on our upkeep here. I guess there is only one more chill in the deck, but we do have, what, 3 more ghouls and our full playset of amalgams? No, there's 3 more amalgams and 3 more, sorry for hitting the mic there, 2 more narcomoebas. Dead if they attack here. They're dead in 3 turns to, no, they're not dead to the narcomoeba anymore. I guess I can just activate Coliseum. I'm not gonna do the gaze. I'm gonna activate Coliseum with one of these lands, leave up the mana where I can hardcast a Imp. Yeah, so minus Ren on the Narcomoeba. Nope, oh, on the Ghoul. Interesting choice. You can't block this one. You could have blocked that one. Keeping this in play means we don't get our stuff back. That's fine. A Prize Amalgam won't actually enter. Can I Ox? Is it just hand? Wasn't cast. Is Escape? Escape is a cast. We also got Conflagrate. Conflagrate. Let's do... oh, cancel. Where are you, Conflagrate? Target. 3, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I guess I only had to do it for 2. I could have swung, but then we could just activate this, or we could have cast the Ox or activated that and done a bunch more. So, as you saw, I mean, it felt fast, and maybe I was playing fast, clicking fast, or whatever, but got through 3 matches pretty quick there. You know, you lose pretty hard to Leyline of the Void. Yes, you have an answer to it, but otherwise it's a powerful deck. You know, I'm curious the Tome Scour split with the Gaze. Wonder makes sense as a one of. Conflagrate is fine as a one of. Maybe I want more main, but I'll finish out the league and see how it feels. Hope you enjoyed seeing good old fashioned Dredge today. Obviously looting makes it feel much more consistent and powerful than playing it before, and this particular build seems fine. So hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching.